taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take the noose off. You cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as
Oh, wrestling fans, clap for the Angle Podcast.
Oh, the Angle Podcast.
Angle Podcast.
Angle Podcast.
The Angle Podcast.
The Angle Podcast.
It's the Angle Podcast. How exciting!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Angle Podcast. It has been such a long time since I've done a live stream here or any sort of live, really anywhere. I've been doing here and there on TikTok, but TikTok is not the same as YouTube. YouTube is just a different vibe. It's a different place. And I believe it is the best place for pro wrestling. So welcome to the Angle Podcast. I guess you can call it State of Wrestling Address. As always, I'm your host, Joey Carney. I'm the person you're always engaging with here in the community tab or in the comments or on TikTok or on Twitter or wherever you follow. It is me. It's been a long time, like I said. So I'm excited to start talking about everything pro wrestling. And man, this week, or I guess you can say the last couple of weeks, have really been unprofessional wrestling, like, if that makes sense. Unprofessional, I guess we can say, really is the term to use, because there's just so much going on that, quite frankly, shouldn't be going on. But there also is some really good stuff. And I tweeted out earlier today that, you know, the things that are happening right now with AEW, CM Punk, you know, all the drama that's happening, we should be looking at the positive stuff. And the positive stuff, we can start with Clash at the Castle. I mean, look how many matches on that card had high ratings. I mean, I think the opening match for that show, Damage Control versus Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss, I believe that was rated 4 stars. Gunther versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship, 5 stars. Finally, Sheamus getting his flowers that he should have gotten a long, long time ago. Sheamus is one of the most consistent. Sheamus is one of the most badass. Sheamus is one of the best professional wrestlers that WWE has all around. And I say that with confidence because he really is something different. But there are a lot of things, like I said, that we need to be focusing on when it comes to what's going on in professional wrestling. Like I said, Clash at the Castle, NXT Worlds Collide, WWE unifying the NXT brand with the NXT UK brand. Something that I feel like has been the ball has been rolling on that for quite some time, I believe, just because they stopped, like the NXT UK brand, they really stopped like promoting it the same way that they used to. They used to be like heavily marketed, heavily talked about on social media through the WWE pages. And then they flat out just spoiled the ending of the tournament, the UK Championship tournament, before Like they had Tyler Bate come out on NXT, which was live with the UK title, before he actually won it on NXT UK, the show on Peacock. So I think they kind of just they knew it was done. They just they wrapped it up quicker than they planned to, I guess. But yes, NXT UK is now unified with NXT, which, I mean, look at the great stars that we're seeing now on NXT. We have Gallus, we have JD McDonough, we have Blair Davenport, we have Tyler Bate, and there's just so many more that I'm sure will be coming soon from that brand. Because it makes, honestly, like, it was smart to do that because now you can take up the guys and girls like Legado del Fantasma, Indy Hartwell. You can take those superstars up to the main roster. That leaves room for the new guys and gals from the NXT UK brand. So they're switching out the talent, which makes a lot of sense. Jumping over to things on the AEW side, MJF returning was a huge win for AEW in a time where they really desperately needed a win. Obviously, you don't have to be a genius to know that MJF was going to return as a babyface, as a guy who's cheered by everyone because, yeah, he's an asshole. Yeah, he is, the top heel, I really think, in all of professional wrestling. He is an anti-authority figure based just because of what he did with Tony Khan and AEW before he left. So I think that him coming back, especially, with CM Punk, who is just a pivotal figure for AEW, but also just, it's hot and cold. Like, he was getting booed in his hometown of Chicago in a match against Jon Moxley. They were going back and forth between Punk and Mox, but that match, any other time, any other company would have been completely in favor of CM Punk. So the fact that he was getting 50% of the cheers and 50% of the boos along with Mox, one, shows just how great Jon Moxley is, but two, it shows that Punk is just not hitting the same way it used to. And a lot of people may not like that, but it is the truth. And we can see it now more than ever with all of the drama happening with AEW. I look to guys and in pages like Fightful and Sean Ross Sapp as my people to go to for professional wrestling news. There are a lot of media outlets out there. There are a lot of people covering this. I would suggest that you go to a legitimate and noteworthy outlet. Like I said, for me, Fightful is the place. I don't go anywhere else. That's not a knock to other people. That's not a knock to other outlets. I just feel most comfortable with Fightful. And again, the Fightful team doing an excellent job covering all of everything professional wrestling. There's others out there as well, like Denise Salcedo. Props to her. I mean, I saw a tweet from her a couple days ago, or it might have even been yesterday, that she hit a pivotal milestone on her channel. I think it was like 60-something thousand subscribers or something like that. And it's meaningful because she pays for all of her trips. She pays for everything out of pocket to go to all these shows to cover. And now she's starting to see it, the investment pay off. So kudos to her. She does an excellent job with her coverage and her interviews. Also, John Alba. Man, that guy knocked it out of the park this whole week, really. The guy got no freaking sleep. He's just everywhere. Whether he's in the ring or outside of the ring, props to John Alba doing an excellent job. There's a lot of people that I can go down the list and talk about how great they are. And a lot of people watching are probably like, oh, this is a wrestling podcast, a wrestling show, giving credit to other wrestling podcasts, other wrestling shows, other wrestling media. I will be the first person in line to do that. This is not about me. Pro wrestling is not about me. It's not about my show. We're all doing kind of the same thing with the same passion. So if there are people who are going to uplift this community, they're going to do good by this community, I will be the first person in line to give them props and to give them credit. If you think otherwise, I'm not the guy. Yes, so back to the wrestling stuff. Yes, Sheamus is one of the most underrated superstars, I think, of this modern era of professional wrestling. He was great all around for years. I think he's been around for like 15 plus years now. But when he came back, I believe it was 2020. He came back he came back in 2020 after like some time off. Every match has just been out of the park. Like he knocks it out of the park. Whether it's against Chad Gable, whether it's against Gunther, whether it was against Jeff Hardy. I mean, this guy is just, I don't know. Sheamus is one of the best, one of the most underrated guys. I would love to see him, honestly. I know, like if you look at his run on Raw and SmackDown the past couple of years, he obviously did way, way better on Monday Night Raw. Hands down. He had great matches with Drew McIntyre. He had great matches with everybody over there. He comes back to SmackDown. He actually gets some, like, attention because I think there's less guys like him on the roster. Now he's obviously in the same realm as Drew McIntyre again. He has the Brawling Brutes like Butch and Ridge Holland, which I think are a great asset to Sheamus. But I don't know. I don't know. I would love to see Sheamus like go have a match in NXT, like against Braun Breaker. Like that would be an amazing match. I would love to see Sheamus go over to Raw, and have some great matches over there. I want to see Sheamus versus Karrion Kross because I think that would be an excellent match. Both hard-hitting, brutal guys, so I think that would be a great match. There's a lot of great stuff happening in WWE right now, and a lot of people say, the changes are very minimal. To me personally, I have a completely different vibe when I'm watching WWE shows now, especially Monday Night Raw. Like last year for me, it was miserable to watch Monday Night Raw. I just couldn't enjoy it. There was more things I disliked than I liked, and I tried so hard to find things I liked. I like to credit myself being a positive guy, having a positive space in the wrestling community. My page, I like to just put out good, positive content. Of course, I will voice the things I don't like, the things I dislike, but more so than not, I always talk about the things I do like. I always give credit, and the things I enjoy. WWE really has just been making me feel excited about pro wrestling again. It's making me like wonder, and it's making me anxious about what may happen. And now that they're bringing back all these guys and girls, like seeing Dakota Kai come back at SummerSlam, man, I got goosebumps in that moment. It was just something I didn't expect. I don't think anybody expected that moment. Io Sky coming back or coming up from NXT. There was rumors that she may have not re-signed. I personally wasn't sure where that was going to go. I was excited to see her back. Bayley, obviously we all knew that Bayley was coming back. But there's just a lot of things happening. And then Karrion Kross and Braun Strowman coming back. He'll be on SmackDown tonight, and it's been, I think someone reported that Braun Strowman will be a part of the SmackDown roster. So it was kind of cool to see him on Raw and have all that momentum carry over to SmackDown tonight, and see, what he's going to do. But there's a lot of things, I don't know, just very exciting. And then you go over to the AEW side, which tends to be exciting too. I love watching all the shows. Quite honestly, right now, the one to watch is Impact Wrestling, in my opinion, because they are the most drama-free, first off, but they are the most consistent show. There's just so many things happening. We're seeing a great storyline over there with Mickie James. with her. This is her last rodeo, her last trip around the NXT Impact Wrestling realm. She's gonna face everybody to get back the Knockouts World Title. We have Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo as the Impact or the Knockouts Tag Team Champions. I mean, a lot of great things happening. Josh Alexander defending against Eddie Edwards coming up. It's a lot of great things happening in Impact Wrestling. I cannot say anything bad about Impact Wrestling. Plus management there. I'm always in contact with Impact management about different opportunities, and I don't want to give any names out, but there's a guy that I deal with there that is just honestly, he's always so helpful and he's always so insightful and he's always willing to give opportunities for those who are willing to work. I always see people on social media complain about that. And, if you're not going to put in the work and if you're not going to do what you need to do, don't expect opportunities handed to you. It's just, I would assume that's common sense, but I guess not. I'm not sure. So yes, Impact Wrestling, one of the best, not only one of the best companies around for professional wrestling, but one of the best companies to deal with, in general, just to deal with, to get in touch with, to do business with, to grow with. Just Impact all around is just great. So AEW. I don't really want to speak too much on this already because we're nearly a week, into it, and I just don't think that it deserves the amount of attention that it's getting because, quite honestly, this is not a fan issue. The fans shouldn't be involved with this issue. This should have been taken care of backstage. And I'm not really sure, I don't know. I'm not really sure why it was handled the way it was handled. Let's see. So we got a super chat here. I'm trying to see how I can read them on screen. I'm new here with this, guys, so please bear with me as I try my best. Let's see how I can put this on the screen. Wow, why am I having such a hard time with this? I'm going to read it, Allison. I promise I'm going to read it. I'm just trying to see how I can get it on my screen. Let's see. Give me a moment here. Sorry about that, guys. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to improvise here, guys. I agree, Allison. I do not want it to be like WCW either. So yes, let me do this because I still haven't figured out how to pull up the super chats. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put it as an image on the screen. Here we go. Bear with me. I'm learning here too, guys. Yes, so let me put it here. So Allison says, and by the way, thank you for your super chat. That means the world. So yes, let's see. Allison Tukwab says, seems like AEW is having trouble getting along. Expansions finds Tony Khan or on crazy, and I like AEW and I like WWE. Absolutely, I agree. I like AEW too. I like WWE. I like all the wrestling companies. I mean, there's really no reason to not like any of the wrestling companies. I mean, obviously there are politics backstage, but honestly, the fans shouldn't be involved with the backstage politics, which is why all the wrestlers involved should really be embarrassed. And most of all, Tony Khan should be embarrassed because he allowed CM Punk. He should have shut down CM Punk the second he saw it going downhill in that media scrum after All Out. there's a fine line between like looking to get publicity and get a headline and then losing all sort of control. And I think that he tried to let CM Punk kind of take the ball and go, but he went too far and he should have just pulled it back. There should have been no mention of I'll use his ring name. There should have been no mention of Colt Cabana. CM Punk has been around the moon, around the world of professional wrestling for quite some time. He should have just known to move on from that question. Or at least just like, pull it back and apologize for going there and then continuing with the media scrum and answering the questions. Because that moment, that time he had on that scrum should have been about becoming the world champion, MJF coming back, Moxley being a fantastic superstar in AEW. But it just didn't, and it just became about him. And I feel like that's a typical thing that happens with CM Punk. It becomes about him. And I'm a fan of CM Punk, but am I a fan of Phil Brooks, the person? I'm not sure, because that should not been about Phil Brooks. It shouldn't have been about Scott Coulson. It shouldn't have been about anything besides the return of MJF and what is next for the AEW World Championship now that CM Punk is the second ever two-time world champion. So yes, like Allison said, it seems like AEW is having trouble getting along. I completely agree, because it's just a mess right now. Everyone's suspended. Having the trios, the world trios titles should have been a fantastic moment. It's something that the fans have been waiting for a long time. It's a thing that the AEW roster has been waiting for a long time, and it was completely ruined. With the Elite getting involved with the stuff with CM Punk and all that stuff, and all those titles being, I guess, vacated. It's kind of noteworthy to say, though, CM Punk is a two-time AEW World Champion, and combined, he was champion for like 6 days. Like, nothing against him. It's just like, take the time to heal, and there's no, I don't know if he's been suspended. I know he's out with an injury that's going to be like 6 to 8 months. Someone said he tore his tricep. I'm not really sure. I'm not the news media guy to go. I'm not a news media guy. I just like to talk about what's going on. So he's out, and I don't know if like him being out, honestly, CM Punk being out right now is the best thing that could have happened to him, because if not, he obviously would have been suspended. He got shipped with the title, and I don't even know if he's gonna have a job. So I don't know after this, because he is gonna have surgery for that for that injury. When he is medically cleared, is that when his suspension starts, or is it during his injury? Because I would assume that the suspension starts if he gets suspended, if he doesn't get fired. Whatever happens should start after he is medically cleared to return. That would be the fair thing to do. I'm drinking my iced coffee here. It's the only thing I drink. I can drink coffee like 3 or 4 times a day. It's a problem. But, so CM Punk just going off the rails, and everybody that, like, Ace Steel bit someone, a chair was thrown, one of the Young Bucks got knocked out, Kenny Omega. I feel like this could be a work, but, like, if it's, I don't even know. There's a lot of things that need to be fixed in professional wrestling. The things that are happening right now, unacceptable. A big thing to do with that is the use of social media. I mean, like, if there was no social media, we wouldn't know about any of this stuff. So I think that professional wrestling in general needs to find the fine line between, like, kayfabe and reality, because this is what happens. And now, this is a mark on AEW for a long time. Because if CM Punk does leave, you don't want him going around talking trash about AEW, because I can't see this ending well unless it is a work or they end up working it out. But right now the AEW World Title doesn't look like anything meaningful. They've had interim champions. They put the title on Mox. They put the title on Punk. They put the title on Mox, and they put the title back on Punk. There needs to be some sort of line where we need to let's slow down the train. Let's put a plan together. Let's get a strategy going, and we'll take it from there. This new tournament of champions is going to culminate in New York at Grand Slam. I'm very excited for. I would have liked the title match to be Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho for that title. Because the match they had All Out was fantastic. But they're gonna have a match next week or so, and then that winner goes to the finals. I think putting the title on Bryan Danielson would be a great reset for AEW. He brings something different to the table. He's a locker room leader. He's one of the fan favorites all around. And there's a lot of matches that people are looking forward to seeing with Bryan Danielson in AEW. So I definitely think that, in my eyes, the title is going to go to Bryan Danielson. Let's see. Yes, Allison said, the only wrestling company that don't get mentioned is Impact Wrestling. It's like, after he heals up, I would like to see him go to Impact Wrestling if he won't. Honestly, I don't know where he'll go. Let me be honest here. If things don't get worked out between CM Punk and AEW, I don't see CM Punk going anywhere else. I see him retiring and just taking his ball and going home for good. I don't see him going back to WWE. I don't think his ego would allow him to do that, to be honest with you. But I hope things get worked out between AEW and Phil Brooks, because the guy he's a great asset. He draws money. He has great matches. He's great on the mic. I mean, he's definitely he's one of the best that there is right now. Yeah, I want to see Bryan Danielson win that title, and then eventually MJF get the title, and that's when AEW will finally get back on track, because I think that's been the goal the whole time. But yeah, and I have to say, Jon Moxley deserves to be the wrestler of the year. And there's a lot of reasons why. Let me get into the top ones, at least in my book. First off, he said it in his promo. He's the guy that you call when something goes wrong. Like, Jon Moxley is professional wrestling. He became interim champion. He held the title, did some great things while Punk was out. He's always consistent in the ring. He's just believable. He does some amazing things. Jagger, stop. And the promo he gave on Dynamite this week really just, it made us remember what is good about professional wrestling. The title is meaningful, and that there's passion and there's good energy, and just, I don't know, a lot of good things came out of that promo from Jon Moxley. To me, that was promo of the year thus far, what he said on Dynamite. I don't think he'll be the interim champion again, or not interim champion. This is going to be the crown the new champion. There is no interim champion. Title is vacated. So I don't think he'll be the next AEW World Champion, but I definitely think that he is. Let's put it this way: if AEW was to create a Hall of Fame right now, the first person inducted would be Jon freaking Moxley. Put it that way. He's a legend. He's a legend. Let's see here. I'm looking at some of the chats. Yes. MJF mentioning Cody Rhodes, Nick Khan, and Triple H on Dynamite was a great touch. Obviously, MJF is that guy to go there, sort of say. Talked about how his contract is up in 2024 and there's going to be, and the AEW, being AEW World Champion would be a great chip, being that he won the Casino Battle Royal, holding that chip for the title opportunity. It would be a great thing to have to the bidding war of who gets MJF in 2024. So the guy is just, he's all about business, and that's how you got to do it. Doing some great things now that he's back. I'm excited. I'm excited to have MJF back. But in all honesty, I'm going to cut to the chase here. After the promo that Jon Moxley gave, and I tweeted this out that night, right after that promo. After that promo, Jon Moxley should have had a standing ovation backstage. All those guys that got suspended and were involved in that should be embarrassed, and they should shake the hand of Jon Moxley and thank him personally for not tampering AEW more than they had already done. Jon Moxley went out there and flat out took one for the team. He was pissed off, he was embarrassed, and he turned the fans back, to where they needed to be. And it takes a leader, and it takes a great guy or girl, and it takes someone with passion to be able to go out there and do that. And Jon Moxley, excuse me, bravo to Jon Moxley. Kudos to that man, because what he did was he flat out went there and took one for the team. And like I said, everyone should be giving him a standing ovation. All those guys, CM Punk, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Ace Steel. I mean, all the producers and everyone who was involved in that backstage battle royal, we should say, should be embarrassed, and they should all personally thank that man, Jon Moxley, for taking one for the team and doing right by AEW. Ray Robertson says, AEW has never been able to recover from the pandemic era. The show's never been the same as before. I'm not sure if I agree with that or not. Because if you look at the roster, listen, AEW to me felt more like an independent show up until the pandemic, which a lot of people liked. I liked it. It was a different vibe. It was a different feel. But look at all the guys and girls that AEW brought in. I think the issue they're having right now is a big issue that WWE had run into, and that is we have a big pool of talent. We have a big pool of top talent in the women's division, in the tag team division, and in the singles division, men's division, whatever you want to call it. How do we place all of these people to, one, stay relevant, but two, build stories and utilize everyone? And that's a big thing. Like, when there's a shit ton of professional wrestlers across the board, and it's hard to get everybody on TV. And when I had the opportunity to interview Nick Aldis, he told me that one of the reasons why he didn't go to WWE, and one of the reasons why he didn't sign or didn't want to sign with WWE, is because someone has to open the show. That's what he said. So, and it made so much sense, because someone does have to open the show. And when you have a pool of all top talent, someone's going to bite the bullet and open the show. Someone's going to be the mid-carder. Someone's going to be the lower end of the card. You can't have a show of all top guys unless you're FTR. But you can't have a show of all top men and women. And I feel like AEW ran into that issue where they signed everyone that was popular and everyone that was, considered top talent. And now it's like, Ruby Soho is not getting TV time. Tony Storm is on AEW Dark and Elevation and all those other shows. You have all this top talent, and where are they being placed in the show, and a lot of issues. Green Cycle 12 says, what do you think is going to happen with Ilya Dragunov? Honestly, when that guy is cleared, he will probably stay in NXT Europe. I don't see him coming over quite soon. I think he still has some developing to do in WWE. Obviously, he went down with injury and had to vacate the NXT UK Championship. Yes, and when he's back and cleared, I think he will probably stay in NXT Europe and carry that brand for a while. Maybe be the inaugural champion, whatnot. I don't know, something over there. Eventually making his way to Raw and SmackDown and the USA version of NXT. Yeah, so I want to thank first off everyone for getting involved in the chat, the super chat, just engaging. This is the first my first live stream in over a year, I believe. So as you can see, my lighting is horrible because I'm sitting near a window here and the sun is beaming, so I look like a ghost right now. But I'm going to get better at this, and I want you to come along with this journey. I did a poll on my community tab on YouTube and asked, when would everybody like to see me go live? And everybody said Friday afternoon. Friday afternoon would be a great day. Just to, sit back, chill, have a drink, and listen to some wrestling or some wrestling stuff. So I like Fridays. So if you are in the chat right now, let me know what the best day to go live is, because I'm okay with going live any day. This is my thing, and it's not about me. It's never been about me. It's about wrestling. It's about the fans, and I want to listen to your opinions. I want to know what you want to see. So if you would like to see me go live on Fridays, I would more than happy to do that. If you want to see a different day, let me know. Yeah. I would love to just listen to your opinions. Let's see what else. If you haven't already, please subscribe down below. You can stay up to date with all the stuff happening on the Angle Podcast channel. You can follow me on all platforms of social media. You can follow me first on Twitter at the Angle Radio. You can see, let's see, over here, right there. You can see the handle at the Angle Radio. That is where I'm most prominent on social media. I live tweet shows, like every show. I'm always giving my thoughts and talking about different stuff. Like I said, Twitter at the Angle Radio. You can find me also on TikTok. I'm almost at 23,000 followers there. You can follow me at the Angle Podcast. I post just little clips of like my thoughts on professional wrestling or big moments that are happening and just different things that I think people would want to see. You can follow me on Instagram at the Angle Radio. And right here on YouTube, you can type in the Angle Podcast and see all the great things happening. I do interviews with all the greats. You can check out my channel, look through the videos. I've literally interviewed like majority of the Impact Wrestling roster. I've had some of my recent interviews. I had JBL on the show. I had Deonna Purrazzo on the show. Mickey James on the show. Jeff Jarrett on the show. I've even gone far back. Like if you look back, I interviewed Nick Aldis. I've interviewed Tyson Kidd. I've interviewed Ryback. You want to see that one? That's a great one to watch too. A lot of great people on the show. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, listening to me ramble about pro wrestling, kind of get my grips back into this live stream game. I want to keep doing it more often. I'm going to do it next week as well. I do also go live on TikTok to kind of talk about similar things. So like I said, you can follow me at the Angle Podcast on TikTok, and you can watch me go live there. But yeah, we're gonna grow here. We just hit 10K a few days ago. 10,000 subscribers here on YouTube. The next goal is 20K, and then 30K and 40K, and we're gonna keep going. So if you know anybody that is a professional wrestling fan, send them to my page. Tell them to subscribe. If you haven't already, please subscribe down below. This is the place to be for professional wrestling. I am at heart a professional wrestling fan, have been since I was 3 years old, and I'm going on 30, and it's never going away. It's in my life for good. So yeah, if you are a professional wrestling fan as well, if you'd like to hear about professional wrestling, talk about professional wrestling, see all things about professional wrestling, hit that subscribe button, please, and thank you. I'm going to wrap the show here. And like I said, let me know in the comments, let me know in the chat, or even just in the community tab. Let me know, or even if you're on Twitter and you want to tweet me, let me know what day is best to go live. I would be more than happy to go with the majority of the vote. And so right now we're going to keep it for Fridays, but if you have a different day, let me know. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, for their super chats, for watching, for subscribing, for liking, for commenting, for doing all the great stuff that you guys do on social media. And again, I want to thank you for being a pro wrestling fan, because without you, without me, without us, there is no professional wrestling. And of course, there's no better way to end this than on a positive note, and that is, what a great time it is to be a professional wrestling fan. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here with me. My name is Joey Carney, the host of the Angle Podcast, and I will see you when I see you. Have a good one, guys.